good, everybody? MidMorningSol back at it again with another part to the Piofiore Fate of Memories playthrough, or rather, the list. But no gameplay, as there's really not much else to play. And it kind of sucks though, because I had like 99 parts and I could have made a part 100, but it is what it is. But y'all, without further ado, this video is going to be my review on the recently released Otome game that came out from Aksys. Praise be to Aksys for localizing this gem. But one thing's for sure, I'm not going to talk about spoilers. If you want to talk about spoilers, I do have another video coming out and we can shoot the shit right there. But y'all, this video, I'm going to try my hand at reviewing. I'm going to go into detail, but not too much detail. Piofiore, Fate of Memories, what is it? It is an Otome visual novel that has been localized by Aksys, developed by Otome, and Idea Factory. All those companies I do not have a handle on right now, but y'all know the ones. This Otome game, it was actually set in the year 1925, and it is set in a fictional town in Italy known as Berlone. The thing with Berlone is it's known as the back door of Europe, which many things go down, and it's heavily mafia influenced, to which we have our love interests, as majority of them are affiliated with the mafia, and there are three main families that have split Berlone into equal-ish territories of control. Which brings in our heroine, Liliana Adornado. I get hung up saying her name, but Liliana, or Lily as she goes by, is the heroine you can rename and you would be controlling throughout this visual novel. She's an orphaned church girl who lost her parents at birth, and she's been raised by the church her whole life. She considers the sisters at the church her family. She has friends and she watches over the kids, all that good stuff, right? She's a good cook. And she goes by her day-to-day life, but then she gets caught up with the mafia, and hence, let's go through the story. Pacing to me was pretty optimal in my opinion. You do have the build-up, and then you just jump right into whichever route you're going to. In the route, depending on, which route you're doing, I'd say pacing, it varies, because some routes don't have a lot of fluff. There's not much for, any sort of relationship building, and other routes there's plenty of opportunities of relationship building, and it feels like the story's dragging on too much. Which stories or which routes do I feel have like good pacing versus suboptimal pacing? Well, I'll go into detail with the next video. But pacing in general, I feel as though it's good. You get some build-up, which is necessary, but you don't get a full-on exposition. And with, certain characters, like I said, there's a bit of fluff in there, but it hasn't impacted the story too bad. And then other characters, they just cut straight to the chase. Now y'all know, visual novels, keyword being visual, the art should be on point. It better be on point. You'd be surprised. I'm not really a strong connoisseur of art. I can't tell you about oh, yes, Italian art in the Renaissance and European influence. No, I can't do that. But I can tell you what appeals to me and what's going to keep me hooked. And the art in this visual novel is pretty top notch. I mean, I love the character design, but really what stands out to me is the backgrounds. People take those for granted, and it's like, that's what helps with the immersion of the story, in my opinion. Background art. So, when people like have beautiful art, beautiful character art rather, and like they skimp on the background, well, it's like, okay, so yeah, I get that, yes, you're beautiful, but I can't get over the fact that we're like visiting this place that the story set up. It looks like a preschooler fumbling around with Photoshop. I just can't. So with Piofiore, the background art was some of the best. I mean, I really did feel like I was whisked away, spirited away to Italy, circa 1920. Some of the background art, it really does. When background art makes you want to go to the country in question, I mean, that's when you know you've done a good job. And another example of this, y'all, I will say that the background art was very beautiful and almost made me want to visit this place was Root Letter, either Last Answer or just the vanilla Root Letter. But Root Letter, 1999 Letters from Shimane, probably messed up the title, but if you're aware of that visual novel, just take, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you aren't, take a couple seconds, look at like some gameplay really quick, and tell me you don't feel like you are in the midst of Shimane Prefecture. I mean, I really enjoyed that visual novel too. It made me very happy to get a platinum trophy on it because I played it for PlayStation 4 or PlayStation Vita rather, but I do have it for PlayStation 4 as well. But yeah, Root Letter is another example of this. Really did enjoy the background art of this, like really intricate detail. Like I give the background artist all the props, all the credit. Give that person a raise 2 times over, because yes, the background art in Piofiore Faded Memories is astonishing. Loved it. The music, because I think music is a form of art, should be. The music in Piofiore Faded Memories also has a nice charm to it. Definitely hear like Italy's influence with the certain instruments that they use. Of course, I can't name them off the top of my head, but one theme stood out the most. To me, and that was Yang's theme, or the theme of the Lao Shu, or however you want to refer to it as the Lao Shu theme. Even though it's very ominous sounding, I really did like that theme. That's like one of the themes that jumped out the most, and really I did like the sound of it. You can hear like they tend to take in the influence from the countries that are affiliated with the particular music pieces. So for the most part, most of the soundtracks have an Italian influence, but for the Visconti theme, there's a hint of America in there with the piano, and for Lao Shu, you have the Chinese sounding instruments. I don't know. I just, for the music, I'm not really much of an audiophile with music, so I don't really know the proper terminology. But like I said, I do like the Laoshu theme the most out of the three families, then Visconti, then Falzone. Of course, like with most of the visual novels, there's like once you play like for enough hours, the music starts to get repetitive. So that's a given, but for the fresh listening experience for the first time, I really did enjoy Yang's theme or the Laoshu theme. Let's talk about routes. Each route, I will say, has its own uniqueness to it. And, you know, that's a good thing because you don't want to play, you know, two routes, two different characters, but they're basically matched up the same. You'll get a hint of, from this character's perspective, you know, this character's motivation versus this character's motivation. Sometimes the characters work together, so you find out like different things about different characters in which, you know, oh, I never would have known that, but being with you, now I see why you're this way. That is as vague as possible. I wanna say more, but that's keeping it vague for a reason. I promised y'all spoiler free, so I will say that for tomorrow's video, yeah, I will kind of lay into this topic very, very much so. And when you're going through these routes, there is like a leitmotif, if you will, and you know it links up until where you're able to get to the overall conclusion, we'll say that. The thing with the routes though in Piofiore Faded Memories though is navigating. And when I mean navigating, I mean selecting which character you want to go through your love interest. So it was not that easy. Not that easy. Granted, I didn't do it with a guide, but still, I mean, I'm playing another Otome, in which you'd like to check out, you know, go for it. Cafe Enchante, which was released, I think, a couple weeks afterwards, or no, it was a whole month afterwards. It was released 1 month after Piofiore, and I will say up front right now about Cafe Enchante, the navigating between, you know, love interests is going to be far more easier than here. Here it was very, very difficult to discern. So I was like, I don't know who I'm going to get. I don't know who I'm going to get. But it was fun while I was doing the playthrough. But when I needed to hone in on someone else for completionist sake, that's where I felt kind of annoyed, because you're not given like obvious choices in terms of leading up until getting into your character's route, your love interest route. I mean, that's one big con that I have with this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was planning on brute forcing, but my goodness, y'all, the brute forcing was a bit much. So that's like one hang up I have with Piofiore Faded Memories, is that, yeah, to get to the point where you need to get to, if you're not using a guide, it's not like set in stone like you wouldn't think it is. So yes, Piofiore Faded Memories is rated M for mature here in the Americas. It's probably a mature rated visual novel elsewhere, Peggy, the Australian system, wherever the case may be. But yes, this is dealing with the mafia, and this is one where they don't pull any punches. We'll leave it like that. But yeah, so if you're not really a fan of, you know, kind of dark topics such as like criminal activity and sexual activity, it's implicit though. You definitely want to steer clear from this. But I felt as though with the implication of the mature themes and the theme of this visual novel, it lends itself to, you know, be a mature rated Otome novel. I will say, like, they also swear, but I mean, swearing is not a thing. It's really not. I swore already, so they do swear, not like distastefully though. It's like every so often. And like I said, the sex scenes are like implicit. It's not explicit to where, oh my gosh, why isn't this a hentai or an off-brand or whatever the heck the kids call it nowadays. No, it's pretty much resolved within like a sentence a sentence or two that explains like what happened. So there's that. And then criminal activity, we're dealing with the mafia, so why wouldn't there be, right? So I mean, like, I can see where some talks of it may be triggering. It is one of those, like, it's certain routes, it's done quite often, and then in other routes, not really heard of, but it does have a lingering, like, criminal activity in general, but like what type depends on what route you go through. So just FYI. But I feel as though it was rather handled tastefully. It wasn't like all like over the place or really excessive and to the point where it was cringe inducing. So that's another thing if you're curious about. I mean, all in all, I felt it was rather a nice balance. I did my final check, my final length check, and I clocked in per my Switch right before recording this video. It clocked me in at 145 hours or more. I say that's very interesting, but keep in mind, like I said, I pretty much went through all of the choices. I read Nicola's playthrough like up until a certain point because my audio quality wasn't the best when I first started this playthrough. So there's that. Also, there were times where I had to get up and leave and I just left it at a certain screen. So I would say I took around maybe, I'd definitely say over 100 hours, 130, 125 maybe. And then there were parts where I kind of fell asleep at the wheel, if you will. I know better than to not play the game at night, but hey, it is what it is. I was very interested in reading. For those that just want to experience the story and not go through all of what I went through, I would say that this story probably could take you anywhere from maybe 30 to 50 hours. It depends. It's very, like I said, some stories, if you're trying to go for all endings and you're reading at your own pace, whatever, you know, you could easily do it by just reading what you haven't read before and utilizing some of the nifty features of the visual novel, which I'll talk about a little bit. I think you could easily cover this game in like 30 to 50 hours. 100% maybe 50 hours, around there. But then again, I might be way off, but let me know how long, if you completed it to your liking, be it 100% or you just completed the story just to complete it. Do let me know how long it took you, because I really would like to know. Of course, because I did a let's play of this, it's going to take me a whole lot longer. But I feel as though maybe 30, 40, 50 hours if you're just playing by yourself and experiencing the story by yourself. I really do like the influence of Italy in this game. They don't just refer, or they don't just say, oh yeah, we're in Italy, but let's still business as usual. They integrate Italian culture, the language, and food into this visual novel, making it more like wholesome in terms of bringing in another country, another culture's traditions and whatnot, respectfully, tastefully. I really did like that. It also helps with the immersion, in my opinion. And I had to, when I saw a phrase and whatnot, I had to see if I could try my hand at pronouncing some of the stuff. It was fun to get a little rumbled on, but it was a learning process. I will say, in general, I don't know if this was a recent thing, but thank goodness for the chapter feature with the affinity, or the whatever the affinity and characteristic that the route wants. That takes a lot of the guesswork out of you being able to get the right choices and get the ending that you are seeking out. I remember my first visual novel was Hakuoki for the PSP, and I don't recall, it's been a while since I played that one, y'all, but I don't recall ever seeing that feature. I know there could be a chapter feature, but y'all, kudos to whoever decided to do that, and they ran with it for all these visual novels or Otome games. Really appreciate it. Also, I know the dictionary feature is a good feature to have on, just in case you don't understand. They still haven't had a lot of terms that I had to go and look up myself if I wasn't too sure. Still, I do like the dictionary feature. It's another plus in my book.
Can you read? Wrap it up.
So bottom line, y'all, for Piofiore Faded Memories for the Nintendo Switch, how do I feel about it? I do feel it's an excellent visual novel. Really enjoyed the story. There's a fair amount of twists. I would say that I really like this visual novel because it's not the typical visual novel set at school and you're protag surrounded by a harem all of a sudden and you gotta balance school and whatever. No, this kind of throws that out the window. I always will stand a story that doesn't have that typical we're at school motif and you get a harem thrown at you. No, this one's different. It's set in the past, which was pretty different too. I mean, I'm not much of a history buff, but I could appreciate them putting me into that time period because I'm not checking for what was going on at 1920s. So they did set the scene pretty well. The setting, amazing with the background. The art, beautiful. Yeah, the only thing is my cons were that the navigating to different routes could be a bit on the noisome side if you are not looking at a guide. If you want to experience it pretty bare and new, then you won't look at a guide. But yeah, the ease of navigation is not that easy. There were typos. Maybe I should have mentioned this. There were some typos. I mean, it was just for a key for 2 seconds, and then I was able to keep it moving. It wasn't anything if it wasn't anything deal breaking that took me out of the mood for like more than a minute. I wouldn't even say a minute, just like for a couple seconds. Like, the typos are there, but they're not as bad as you would think. But other than that, y'all, I would say that Piofiore Faded Memories, if you would like something that's out of the norm and you would appreciate a new type of Otome in terms of scene, setting, all that good stuff, I definitely recommend for you to go read it too. I feel as though you won't be disappointed. But, you know, if you are, then Aksys is bringing more Otome games, so it depends on what floats your boat. If you're not really one for mature themes in your Otome game, then you might want to sit this one out, but it's tastefully done in my opinion. And I've seen some more like tactless stuff before, so defo, you know, at least give it a try. With that being said, folks, that's gonna do it. That was my first review, so tell me what you think. Defo open up to criticism. This is my first one, and you know, I just figured to try my hand at it. But for those of you that want something more high energy, more fast paced, and like chaotic, I will be rating the boys. I have to clear myself. I will be rating the love interest for Piofiore in all its hectic glory. So it's gonna be done in the style of the tier list, Husbando waifu tier list. So check that out if you are curious about what I'm referring to. So you won't see me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could show myself while I'm doing this tier list. That'll be for tomorrow, and I can premiere that so we can watch it together, and I can see who I upset with my ranking. It'll be fun, y'all. But yeah, this is me taking a hand at the traditional review. And yeah, folks, that will do it for you, girl. I have to get to work. So thank you very much for watching. Stop it on by. Always appreciate it. And y'all know my philosophy on this YouTube shit. View what you wanna, do what you wanna, and I'll see you lovely lads and lassies in the next episode. So until then, my friends, take care, take it easy, and